This video clip is of my mom's nursing home. And what you're seeing is loved ones gather outside the windows at the front of the nursing home where the elderly can either be wheeled up or on their own make their way up to the front of the nursing home, and you can wave at your loved one in the nursing home through the window. This is all happening because of Governor Greg Abbott. This planet is under satanic attack, and he's using idiots like Greg Abbott to shut down our economy. What does it say about a society when we get more offended by a cough than queers and transvestites and cross-dressing perverts reading sexual stories to our children in a public library? What does it say about our society when policemen are applauded for their bravery for going into a playground to kick out the children and arrest the mother and put her in handcuffs, a mother of 4, and these policemen are applauded, and now the mother is facing a year in jail with a $1,000 fine, and the cops are applauded for their bravery in kicking the kids off the playground, while just down the road we have Planned Parenthoods all over America ripping apart babies in the wombs and selling and purchasing and trafficking the baby parts. But the officers do not feel compelled to protect the unborn children in the womb that are being ripped apart and trafficked, but they feel compelled to kick the children off the playground. The people that are participating in this know-it-all, busybody, satanic attitude of changing our behavior and everything is at the whim of some tyrant who goes by governor or president. Whatever you want to call him, I call him a tyrant. But you know, how many elderly folks have died alone, and they've not been able to be visited by their loved ones, and they can only wave at them through the glass? Yeah, if they can get to a phone, you can talk to them on the phone. You guys that are in current, you will be held accountable. You will reap the greater damnation. Let's get on with the rest of this video. All right, it's Sunday, April the 26th, the year 2020, and Governor Greg Abbott will reap the greater damnation. This man has made decisions that have been terrible for Texas and have been aligned with the agenda of Satan. The Bible says, "And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, wilt thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?" Today, I tried to go into a Dollar General store. I was going to pick up a few items, and the lady barked at me, Sir, you're not wearing your mask. I need to ask you to leave." Okay, that's going on all over Dallas right now, and this child of Lucifer named Governor Greg Abbott is allowing it to happen in the great state of Texas. I'm going to tell you some other things about this Texas Governor Greg Abbott. You see this photo here? This is a photo of Greg Abbott with Kevin Casey Massey. It was taken 4 days before the Department of Justice and the FBI identified Kevin Massey as a domestic terrorist, and it ultimately resulted in the death of Kevin Casey Massey with a .45 bullet to his head. They say that he committed suicide. I highly doubt it, but that's what they say. When this came out, that Governor Greg Abbott was photographed shaking the hand of Kevin Casey Massey, Greg Abbott said it was photoshopped. It's not photoshopped. That infuriated Kevin Casey Massey, and I'm sure it caused him to be disappointed in his Texas governor. There's a video of the handshake, which proves that it's not photoshopped. Here is the funeral video that they played at the funeral of Kevin Casey Massey when my wife and I attended the funeral. I just want you to see a few pictures of this dangerous domestic terrorist that was spending his own time and his own resources helping protect the Texas border. Now, I had to block the music because they'll do copyright. He was, I guess, discovered dead on December the 23rd, 2019. This is your dangerous domestic terrorist. This is who the feds and the FBI and the Department of Justice wanted. I'm sure they enjoyed the news that he was dead. Kevin Casey Massey was a good man. My wife and I talked to him on the phone several times, and he knew how bad our government was, and he was trying to use his life to do good for the state of Texas and to do good for his country. But his country turned on him, and he was found dead with a .45 bullet in his head. You see this title? Militia leader posed with Greg Abbott 4 days before feds found ammonium nitrate in weapons. I doubt very seriously Kevin Casey Massey had ammonium nitrate. I doubt it very seriously. You see this lady here? Brookshire woman sentenced to 10 years in prison for mailing homemade bombs to Obama and Abbott. They say that Julia Poff tried to mail a homemade bomb to Governor Greg Abbott and Obama. I was in the process of learning her story, and she told me that she had a $300,000 judgment against her landlord, and her landlord kicked her out, put all her stuff on the curb, and used her stuff to mail a homemade bomb with her name on it, and it had a cat hair. Well, the cat hair could have easily been picked up from the stuff after she was evicted. And she's writing a book declaring how innocent she is. But when I started to communicate with Julia Poff in prison, the warden at FMC Carswell, Texas, banned me from speaking to anybody at his prison. Do you think the governor might have had a discussion with the warden and said, don't let that Rudy guy communicate with Julia Poff because she's going to tell everybody that she's innocent and I don't want none of it? We can't have everybody thinking there's innocent women in prison. What about this lady right here? Amy Gonzalez. She's spending life without parole in a Texas prison. Life without parole for the crime of her father. And we were promoting her case. You say, well, I'm not sensitive to healthcare workers on the front line working to eradicate the coronavirus or to deal with the coronavirus. How about you be sympathetic to a nurse, a Texas nurse, for 27 years who got sentenced to life without parole and nobody gives a damn. And yet all these slanderous stories in the media calling Amy Gonzalez a monster when it was her dad that committed the crime. I suggest you guys got your priorities mixed up. That's what I suggest. And Governor Greg Abbott knows that he has innocent women sitting in Texas prison, and he doesn't do a damn thing about it. What about Barbara Holder, who's sitting in a Gatesville prison serving life? And on a town hall meeting, I told Governor Greg Abbott, there's a lady sitting on life in a Texas prison, and I'd like you to look into her case. And you know what his response was? Because it was a town hall? Well, we got to be tough on crime. Got to be tough on crime. Tough on crime? How about you be right on crime? How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Governor Greg Abbott is reaping the greater damnation on himself for putting all these stupid rules and shutting down Texas and having shop owners bark orders. I mean, I don't even live in Dallas County, right? But I walk into the store and I got some lady yelling at me to put on a mask. And that's all because of Governor Greg Abbott. And you got Barbara Holder sitting in prison for life. Many of us think Darlie Routier should not be on Texas death row. He could pardon Darlie Routier. He could pardon Barbara Holder. He could pardon Amy Gonzalez. He could pardon Julia Poff. But no, we're gonna have, if you guys watch this video, and I can't play it because they'll do copyright, but it says, help us find Kevin Casey Massey. They don't mention nothing about ammonium nitrate. They just say he's a dangerous domestic terrorist and he has guns. It's sickening. These people that have sold out their soul for filthy lucre to turn in their fellow man, they have sold their soul to become snitches for Satan. And they are the know-it-all busybodies that C.S. Lewis talks about. They think they are doing God a service, but they're bringing in tyranny for their own filthy lucre. It is absolutely sickening. So Governor Greg Abbott, I'm no fan of yours. And when I go to these open Texas rallies, or whatever the heck you want to call them, and you got all these fans, do you pay people to come and say nice things about you? Because the people I talk to, they don't have a lot of nice things to say about you, and I don't either. I bet there's something called controlled opposition. And you pay people to come in and say good things about Governor Greg Abbott. Governor Greg Abbott is reaping the greater destruction upon his head. And how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?